I still assume, Dave, that Liverpool didn't have £400 million sitting in the bank waiting to be fired off to various clubs around the world. So how does it work, and what kind of things do the football clubs need to think about when structuring these deals? And how important has it become? Because it almost feels like now when clubs are haggling between each other, they're almost more talking about how a deal's going to be structured rather than the amounts.
Yeah, I mean, we saw early signs of that in the summer when Manchester United tried to sign Matheus Cunha. A lot of that was based upon how much United would pay up front for Cunha. I mean, no club carries that amount of cash in the bank. They have revolving credit facilities which are available to use. Liverpool's at its maximum is about 300 million, I think, and that's there for cash flow the business, to pay down transfer instalments as and when they're due, but largely as a last resort, really. I mean, they'd like to cash flow all their transfer business through player sales. Now, when you're buying a player, you are effectively spreading for accounting purposes, spreading the cost of his guaranteed sum, so minus any add-ons that you might include in the deal. You're spreading that over the life of a contract, which is now capped at 5 years. So after Chelsea went on that splurge at the start of the Todd Bowley and Clearlake Capital regime there, where they were offering 7, 8, 9 year contracts, that was done to reduce the amortization figure each year, which is the figure which is the guaranteed sum divided by length of term of the contract. So now Liverpool's amortization costs for the last financial year, which were the 23-24, most recently one that's been published, were about 114 million. Now, to put that into some context, Chelsea's was just above 200 million. Now, even with all the transfer business that has gone on this summer, signing Alexander Isak, Ekitike, Vert, I mean, it's so many that it's probably daft me listing them all. It's about 80 to 85 million in terms of annual amortization costs, which you would add to the balance sheet. So, but the flip side of that is that they've sold lots of players. Now, a lot of those players have been academy products, which don't carry any book value. Therefore, anything you sell them for is pure profit, and that's money you can account for straight away in your accounts. Happy days. You don't get all that money at once, by the way. That's what you can account for that money. Okay. So you get that money in dribs and drabs, as is agreed through the payment structure with the buying club. Now, they had the sales of Darwin Núñez and Luis Diaz both required them to clear remaining book value, which is the amortization cost which Núñez and Diaz still had on the books, before they could realise a profit. Now, they did that, and I think they made profit of about 14 something on Núñez after his amortization costs were cleared. So they haven't made a loss on him at all, because it's like anything, you have a useful life of something, and
so in accounting terms, they made a profit because he's been usul for the time.
He's been useful for 3 years.
Yeah,
of that service.
Gotcha.
So Diaz was sold at a really high sum, so 60 odd million. I think the profit on that was over 50. So taking that into account, the actual amortization cost, you're removing what sat on the balance sheet for those two players, which means that the actual, I think from my mental arithmetic that I did the other day for a piece for the Echo, was about 38 million being added in terms of amortized costs. So if you take that into consideration on the 114 million, it's still under 150 million, far less than Chelsea, Manchester United, and the club has greater revenue. Flip side of that is wages, which I'm sure we'll talk about at some point. But yeah, so that's how these deals are structured. So as long as you can manage the costs of those players, acquiring them on the balance sheet, and also meet the requirements, the tangible need for cash, which which has to take place between buying and selling club, then you're fine. Now, they have that because they sold lots and lots of players this summer for a great deal of profit. So they've got cash. They're able to cash flow deals in with deals out. So it's been a successful summer, one of the wildest Liverpool transfer windows I can remember, maybe ever. But it's one which, when you get down to the actual mechanics and financials of it, it's not as big a risk as it may seem.
I hope you're enjoying this free show at the moment. Loads of excellent, exciting stuff on the Anfield app. If you want to be part of the whole thing, you can download the Anfield app and go from there. Or you can subscribe via the YouTube membership as well for video-only content and other bits and pieces. We love doing these shows. We love that you watch them. So come, be part of the journey with us.